Hello and welcome to the Fit and Free podcast. This is a podcast for women who want it all, to feel strong and confident in their bodies, as well as enjoying a sneaky mug on a Friday night. I'm an exercise physiologist and sports nutritionist, here to teach you how to achieve your body goals without food and your body controlling your life. So let's jump in. Hello you guys and welcome back to another ep of the Fit and Free potty. Today I've got a juicy episode because we are talking to why so many active females are stressed to the max, feeling so guilty and overwhelmed anytime they eat out or anytime they have a social event or anytime they go on holidays, and then always just left so unsatisfied with their body. And if that's how you feel, then I have some really good news, because fixing it is actually a piece of cake. Even though it may not seem like it, and even though you may not think it's actually possible for you, I'm here to tell you it absolutely is. And the way that I can prove that to you is because I've helped all of my clients overcome these fears and overcome these struggles, so they have been able to be confident and happy with their body, achieve their physique goals while still enjoying their social life. But first, I want to give you guys a little bit of a life update in terms of what I'm doing now with my exercise and my nutrition. So if you've been here for a while, you know that I am currently in my strong girl era. But I am actually right now taking it up a notch. And what I mean by that is I am pushing my calories. I am pushing them up. And what I mean by up, I'm saying like currently I'm pushing them up 2,800. I'm going up to 3,000 calories and maybe more. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's, number one, of course, for me. I'm doing this for me. And the reason being is this is the time where I really just want to focus on building muscle. Because the thing is once you build muscle and have more muscle on your body, it's actually really easy to maintain. The hardest bit about it is actually building the muscle. And of course, it's hard emotionally, right? Because you're going against everything that you once believed. Even though I am in a really good place with my relationship with food and increasing my calories and all the things, but there is some moments of self-doubt that come in where I think my old thinking still pops up. Like my old thinking of, oh my God, you're getting fat. Oh my God, you're going to gain weight. Like that stuff for me still pops up sometimes. But I know it's coming from a place of fear and I know that it's not true. So I'm able to rationalize with myself and not fall down into those negative spirals anymore. However, that's taken time, consistency, effort, putting in the work, working on myself, working with coaches and all the things. So, but what I'm saying is like, this is again, it's challenging me emotionally, pushing my calories up, up and up because of those old thoughts that still do pop up occasionally. And it's so cool because it's such a mental challenge that it's like exciting. It's like, oh my God, like we're going to a new level. We're pushing outside our comfort zone again. We're pushing into fear. We're, taking action on the things that we want. And I'm freaking excited by that. For a long time, I lived my life fearing those things and avoiding that and, staying safe and staying in my comfort zone. But where did I end up? Just doing the same shit over and over again and spiraling anytime I went out for dinner because I was eating too much. So I'm really excited. So not only am I doing this for myself, but I'm also doing it for you guys because I want to be, and I'm always going to be that, and I want to be that shining light, that evidence for you that eating more doesn't make you get fat and ugly and it means you're lazy and you're unhealthy and all the things that we may be projecting that we make that mean. Because if we continue to live in this fear of fearing calories, fearing weight gain, then it's really, really hard to get a toned, athletic, strong looking body because in order to achieve that, we need to eat. We need to eat more. And we also may need to gain weight, right? And this is where we have to dissociate the two between gaining weight is a bad thing. Well, gaining weight for some people and for a lot of women is actually a good thing because that means we're building muscle. We need to be able to change this narrative of fearing the scale, fearing weight gain and all the things, when it's like, well, hang on a minute. I want to feel fucking strong. I want to feel empowered. I want to have abundance of energy. I want to actually progress in my training. I actually want to get stronger. Like, I actually want to be like hip thrusting, 150 kilos. I want to be deadlifting over 100 kilos. I want to be able to do 20 pull-ups. And the only way to push through these plateaus is something that I have learnt now across my training, is you gotta fucking eat. Because you can only get to a certain level in your training without then building more muscle and getting stronger. And in order to do that, you need the abundance of calories in order to push past these strength plateaus, right? Think about it like a car. Like, you're driving your car and you want to go a further distance, but you're only ever filling up your car to 3/4, but you expect it to go 100%. Like, it doesn't work, right? And that's it. It's like, as you get stronger and stronger, you actually can eat more and more food, which is a fucking amazing thing, because those calories that you're eating don't go necessarily all to fat. What they do, they go to muscle. And this is why, like, my body composition at the moment is like, I've been eating a lot of food, and like, there is not obvious fat gain because I am getting stronger in the gym. So of course, like, it's not fucking obvious because this shit is not, you don't see a difference after a month. That's the other thing. It's like, of course, it's going to change and evolve, and my body is going to change over time as we go through this. But it's like, it's not as bad as what we make it in our heads, and if that makes sense. And I know it's hard to believe when you're sitting in the fear of eating more. Like, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, well, how can you look at the evidence around you and kind of challenge your way of thinking and the way that you're being? So that's it. That's my update. So let me know. Send me a DM on Instagram if you want me to document my journey in a little bit more detail. At the moment, I'm cruising, right? Like, the things that I'm really focusing on is eating enough food and getting stronger. Like, all my energy, all my, all any stress that I have in and around exercise and nutrition, like, all the stress that I used to put in towards thinking about food and, restricting myself and like, oh my God, what am I going to eat today? And like, all the stories, like, all of that stress, that is no longer a thing anymore. So the stress that I'm saying that, like, in comparison to that, is that I am putting that towards my exercise. And when you're in the gym, when you are like fucking not training hard, when you're not pushing yourself to the intensities that you need to, and when you are, because there is a difference. Like, you feel different when you're pushing yourself at the right intensity. And of course, it is an art and it is a skill to be able to push yourself at higher intensities. And that definitely comes with time. Like, I myself, said I was strength training consistently for 6 months, but my strength training looks completely different now because, I'm actually pushing my muscles and my lifts to the right intensity that I need to be, actually getting stronger. And the reason why I know that is because I actually am significantly getting stronger week after week after week after week, in comparison where I used to plateau at a deadlift at like 45 kilos, and I would sit there for 3 months. So if that's happening to you, then absolutely not training enough, and you're probably not eating enough either. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm being really intentional because, as you already know, if you're a listener, my word of the year is intentionality. And I'm really leaning into that, especially with my training right now and building muscle. And I'm super, super excited about it. So anyway, that kind of is a good, transition into today's episode, because it is all about fear, right? It's all about food guilt. It's all about why people are experiencing this food guilt. And if you listen to last week's episode, I dove deep into the mistakes that people are making that is actually causing them to feel guilt, right? But today I wanted to talk to something different that is like the biggest cause, I would say, the biggest reason why so many people are feeling guilt after they eat out. I'm putting these together in terms of they're sitting in that fear of calories, which I just spoke to, in terms of really fearing that they're going to eat too much, they're going to overeat, they're going to undo all of their progress. And because of the fear of weight gain, they are labeling the social event food, or the restaurant, the pizza, the burgers, the cocktails out with the girls. They're labeling that as bad, and they're labeling that as it's too unhealthy. I can't eat that food because it's going to make me gain weight. That food has too many calories. I'm going to gain weight, and therefore I'm going to undo all my progress. So what this is actually known as is food rules. And how these play out is signs that you have food rules is you're saying things like, I can't go to my birthday dinner because the restaurant uses too much oil. Or I can't eat at my friend's house because I don't know how many calories are in the food and I can't track it. Or I can't go out with my friends because they're going out to Italian and pizza has too many carbs and which has too many calories, which is going to undo all of my progress. Right? And why I'm so passionate about this is because this is like, I used to do all these things, right? Like food guilt I used to feel so guilty anytime I would go out for dinner. I'd feel so much shame for undoing all of my progress for that week. And it is very controlling and it is very debilitating. And when we fall into these shame spirals, we shame ourselves. We then become stagnant. We then can't move forward because we're just so fixated on how shit and how much of a mistake we have made. So it's very, very hard to then ultimately live and lead your life in a really happy and positive way. And that is the consequence of not looking at this and not healing and fixing the food guilt, because it's impacting our lives on such a deeper level than what we really realize. Maybe if you're experiencing this, you already feel, it's impacting your mood. It's interfering with your social connections with your loved ones. And that's why I love talking about this, because I was so afraid of the calories, and because every time I ate out, I would always feel so fucking guilty, I would avoid the social situations. And then because I was doing that, I was withdrawing myself away from the people that I loved. And this was the biggest thing for me. It was not just about missing out on the food and like fucking enjoying the satisfying things, right? Like Ultimate Foodie here, you know this by now if you're here for a while. But it was the social isolation, the lack of connection, the lack of love that I had with people around me. And like the crazy thing was, it was like I was doing this to myself. So I want to pull it back to why this is happening. And this is this whole concept of food rules, right? Because when you label something as forbidden, something that the pizza has too many calories, what happens is the body repels. You just want it more. And when you finally have it, boom, the guilt bomb explodes. So why it's really, really important to be looking at your food rules, because ultimately that is the root cause of why you're feeling food guilt. But it's really important for you to understand and to be looking at this because it is one of the biggest causes of self-sabotage. And let me explain, right? When you label something as bad, forbidden, wrong, what happens is you sit there and you get invited to a social situation and then you're like, oh, no, I don't want to go. Maybe you make up an excuse to the person because you don't actually want to tell them, no, I don't want to go because I don't want to undo all my progress. I don't want to eat too many calories. But maybe you say, oh no, I'm busy. I don't want to go. But anyway, they talk you into it because it sounds so fun and so exciting. So you're like, okay, I'll go. Then leading up to it, you start feeling really anxious. You're like, oh my God, like I shouldn't have said yes to this. Maybe I should make up an excuse of why I shouldn't go. Anyway, it gets to the social event and then you go, right? Then when you get there, you're like, looking at the menu like, oh, I need to get the lowest calorie thing, like I spoke to last week. And then the voice in the head, you start debating with yourself. You're going back and forth, back and forth. No, I shouldn't do this. I should have this. Oh, you can't have that. It's got too many calories. Oh, you should do this instead. Right? You go back and forth, back and forth. Then what can happen, because you have these rules and restrictions, what happens is, okay, I will just eat this. I will order the burger, right? I will eat this bad food, right? So we order the burger, it comes, and this is then what happens next. And this is the real problem here. It's, you start eating the burger and it's the thoughts that come up that's like, oh my God, I never allow myself to eat this. So now I need to eat all of it. Even though I'm full, I need to keep eating it because I'm not going to allow myself to have it again. Right? Problem. So what you're doing is you're overeating the bad food, insert guilt here. But not only are you feeling the guilt, but what else is happening is now, because you've broken a rule, you now can't trust yourself in and around food, which is going to cause more anxiety next time when you want to go out. But now, because you broke trust with yourself with this hamburger, you're like, next time the anxiety might even hit you more because, oh my God, last time I broke my rules because I ate the hamburger and I told myself I wasn't going to do it this time, but you did it anyway. So again, you can see why these rules is not only making you feel fucking shit, but it's also causing you to not trust yourself next time, which is again amplifying that anxiety. So that could happen. The second scenario is the classic, oh, I'll just eat this and then I'll just work it off tomorrow. I'll add in extra exercise. I will just skip breakfast, right? And why this is a problem, because, you've had the rule, you said you couldn't have it, now you're having it, now because you've broken the rule, now you have to justify your breaking of the rule. You have to justify why you allowed yourself to have that hamburger. So I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to skip breakfast, I'm not going to eat tomorrow, right? I'm going to punish myself basically, and then I've got to earn my food. Why this is a problem? Because this is setting you up for a restriction, binge cycle. Again, sabotaging your results because of that little food rule that you had at the beginning. So then what ends up happening is like the next day, you're like, okay, I'm going to skip breakfast, have black coffee, skip lunch. Then it gets to the afternoon. Maybe it gets to dinner. You're fucking starving. So then what happens is you eat something and then you're like, oh, I am not full. I need to eat more. You eat again. You eat again. You eat again. All of a sudden, you're feeling guilty again because you've eaten too much, which is a binge restrict cycle, right? Then the third one that I wanted to speak to is the classic start again on Monday. I can't have this burger because it's bad. We get to the restaurant. Oh, I really want the burger. You can't have it. Yes, you should. I can't have it. Yes, you should. I can't have it. I'm going to have it. You have the burger. Then again, it's that justification. I just broke my rule. So now I need to make up for it. So now I'm going to be like, well, I'm just going to start again on Monday. And why this one becomes a problem is because, okay, cool, I'm going to eat the burger on the Friday night. Well, then it can turn into, well, fuck it. I've already fucked up Friday night. I may as well eat whatever I want on Saturday, whatever I want on Sunday. Overeat your calories, blow everything out the window because you're promising yourself you're going to start again on Monday, right? So again, an ineffective way to change your body composition. So you can see why food rules are really impacting your body composition goals. And if you want to eat guilt-free without it impacting your body composition goals, you need to look at reframing your food rules. And it's such a classic, and I myself did this as well. It's like I thought labeling something as bad was the right thing to do. I thought labeling unhealthy food as bad meant that I was just being health conscious. I thought that meant I was being healthy. I thought that was a good thing. However, what I didn't realize, it was actually the blind spot. It was actually the cause of all my self-sabotaging behaviors. So it's so ironic as so many people think that they're doing the right thing by avoiding bad foods and labeling things as bad and, labeling the restaurant food as bad, but it's actually the cause. Calling something bad is actually the reason why you're not successful with your weight loss and toning goals. So if you're feeling guilt around eating out because of all the calories, know that it can be fixed. It absolutely can. But what you have to do is, there's layers to this. It's not just food rules. There is lots of layers that go into this, right? It's about looking at your food rules. It's about building trust with your hunger and fullness cues. It's about learning how to eat for satisfaction and so many other reasons why you are feeling guilt and therefore not being able to be successful with your body composition goals. And that is why I'm running a masterclass tomorrow, and I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know, exactly how to eat out guilt-free without it impacting your body composition goals. So I'm going to teach you how to reframe your food rules. I'm also going to teach you how to build trust with your hunger and fullness cues. I'm going to teach you how to eat for satisfaction. I'm going to teach you how to balance your plate. I'm going to teach you everything literally that you need to know so you don't have to avoid social situations anymore, so that you don't have to feel guilt anytime you eat out, anytime you have an event, so that you don't have to keep promising yourself that you're going to start again on Monday. You deserve a social life where you can enjoy and be present with your loved ones. You deserve to be able to eat the food that you love and feel confident in your body. And it is an unpopular opinion where so many people believe that you have to avoid eating out, you have to avoid saving calories. However, you absolutely can when you nail the principles that I'm teaching you inside this masterclass. The masterclass is going live tomorrow, and if you want to join, the link is in the show notes below. Imagine how much more satisfying your life is going to be. I love using the word satisfy. If you no longer feel anxious about a social situation. If you can go and be present and actually communicate and enjoy the depth of a conversation instead of sitting there in the back of your mind thinking fuck, how I've just undone everything. How am I going to fix this? How am I going to work this off? What do I have to do to compensate? Right? Imagine if that was all free. Imagine what would be possible for you if you were sitting there enjoying yourself at the wedding, enjoying yourself at the engagement party, enjoying yourself at the birthday. Imagine how much happier you're going to be in your life when you're no longer stressing and feeling guilty about any social situation, and how freeing it's going to be when you're no longer undoing all your progress every weekend. I think back to one of my amazing clients, and I remember when I went through all the principles with her, I remember her sending me a message and she was like, Laura, I just went to an Italian food truck festival where I've spent 26 years of my life stressing about the calories, thinking how I was going to undo my progress, feeling so overwhelmed. I just went to this food truck festival and I was able to enjoy the food completely guilt-free with the confidence of knowing that it's not going to ruin my progress. Right? Not only do you get to have that pleasure and satisfaction in your life, but it's also the mental freedom that gives you so much time, space, and energy to enjoy your fucking life. So if you guys want to join the masterclass, then head to the show notes down below. That's it for today's episode. I love you all. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys in the next one.